Okay, another method you can use is modeling the separate parts and then joining them together. So let's say we'd start with the basic default sphere, and you have it modeled to what you want. Let me just zoom out a bit. Let's say, oops, let me just make this bigger. Let's say this is the head. And you have it kind of shaped to what you want. And then you just want to model the neck separately, or the shoulders, or the arm. That's fairly easy. You can just append something else. So if you open the subtool menu here, you'll see a pen on the middle of the menu, kind of on the right side. If you click on it, it gives you different shapes you can append to the one you have already. So let's say we'll append a cylinder, and that's going to be the neck. So it shows up full size here. We can, just like we did with the C spheres, we can just scale it, move it, and kind of, oops, have to be on the right layer, not on the wrong layer. So we can scale it and move it, you know, kind of make it be what we want. We can subdivide it too. Let's say that's good enough for us. So I'll hit Q. We'll move the bottom of the neck back a little bit, let's say. Then we can append another shape here. Let's say this is going to be the torso. So I'm going to hit W, move it down, you know, and then hit Q to draw with my move tool. I don't have symmetry turned on, so I'm going to turn it on, hitting X. This is going to be the shoulders. You know, I can start sculpting this to make it look more to something that I want. So you can keep adding shapes like this. Let's say we add the arm. Let's say you wanted to, you model one arm and it looks really good and you want to duplicate it to the other side. So I'm going to add another sphere here. Select it and hit W to move it. Maybe scale it here a little bit. Scale it front to back also. Let's say this is the one arm. You're modeling it and you're really happy how it turned out. For some reason you like it and you only have one of them. Can you mirror it? Yes, the answer is yes. So let me hit Q to get back to draw. We'll get the brush in flat. Let's say the shoulder is something like this, you know. Brush, move topological, you know, and you got the major shape here and you like it, you know. You can keep adding shapes this way. Can I mirror this subtool to the other side? Yes. If you go to Z plugins, you have to make sure you're on the right layer. Z plugin, and then there's something called Subtool Master in here. So this deal with a bunch of tools for the subtools, you know, any of these layers down here. So we'll go Z plugin, Subtool Master, and then we'll say mirror. Then you just pick the axis you want to mirror. In this case it's X, side to side, so the X axis is always red, Z is always blue, and Y is always green. So you just say okay. You can have them in as a separate layer, so if you wanted to rotate it independently you could separate it, or you can make it be on the same layer. You know, you just select this up here. So if you wanted two layers, you select this on, you turn this on. If you want just one layer, you leave that one checked on. So I'm gonna leave them on one layer for now. I'm gonna say okay. Now there's my other arm, and I have you know, all my subtools separate here. The problem is where they join together. You know, if I try to sculpt in there, so let's say I get the clay brush, and I make it smaller, and I try to model in here, is that they're still separate. That's fine. It's really easy to fix. If you go to the subtool menu again, you know, we'll open here, then you look down. You know, this is how many layers you see on your subtool. So right now we're seeing 4. If you look down, there's a merge menu here. So with the merge, you can be on the very top subtool and start merging down. For some reason I don't get good results with the merge visible, so I have to use the merge down. So you just start merging down. It says it's not undoable, so you have to be sure before you merge. So we'll keep getting merged down till everything's one thing. Merge down, okay. So now everything's one thing. So now if I try to sculpt in here with the clay brush, it's acting like one solid piece of mesh. So I can, you know, modify it to my liking, and I won't get those hard edges here. So I can just add clay in here, especially if you have dynamic topology turned on. Let's see, geometry dynamesh is turned on. So yeah, you can, you know, and again, if you hit the line fill button here, you see there's all kinds of triangles and weird sided polygons. You just hit control and drag outside. It'll go back to quads if that's what you want, and you can subdivide as usual. You know, now there's more polygons in there. So this is another quick way to get your base mesh started.